Welcome back to your channel, guys. Alien Romulus just dropped the other day, so we'll be doing a rankings for the whole entire Alien franchise. Of course, we got the original Alien, Aliens, this great sequel of all time. We got Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, AVP 1 and 2, that's Alien vs. Predator 1 and 2. And we got, of course, Prometheus, Alien Covenant, and the very last one, Alien Romulus. So let's dive right into it.
Is this heaven? No. It's Iowa.
Of course, when it comes to rankings and all that good stuff, guys, we're not going to all agree on this. We're all got different opinions. It's subjective. And of course, there's 9 movies. It's going to be very rare that someone out there is going to agree with me in all 9 movies. So I'm curious what your thoughts are. So as you know, I get through this. So if you want to go to the comments below, I would love to hear you guys' rankings. And like I said, of course, we're not going to agree on this. But hey, if you clicked on this, it means you're a fan of the Alien franchise. It means we're all a big fan. I'm a huge fan of the Alien franchise. Same with Predator. They're all in my top 10 franchise of all time. But remember, this stuff is subjective. It all hit us differently. So let's start off. All right, so the last place, the worst movie in the Alien franchise, I was really up to debate with, Alien Resurrection and Alien vs. Predator 2. I keep going back and forth with this all the time, and I end up ending on Alien vs. Predator, the second one, the prequel. Requiem that came out in 2007. This movie is absolutely terrible. Terrible. And the fact that this is probably the worst movie in Alien and Predator franchise, that's telling you guys something right there. I'll start off with a little positive about this movie. The fact that we have xenomorphs, aliens on Earth, that's nice. I actually enjoy that. The fact that I really like the idea of an alien, coming out of a predator. So you have like an alien predator. But really, that is all I have positive about this movie. Because with that alien predator, you never get to see it. Because you do, but it's all in the shadows. It's so dark. Everyone knows about this movie. It's just pathetic. It reminds me of the whole, the very last scene of Game of Thrones, how it's just really that dark. It's the same concept with this. And of course, the casting. There's no stars. There's really, John Ortiz that played the sheriff, he's really the only person that you kind of recognize this movie. And he's really the only highlight of this movie. But as a sheriff, you don't take convicts to crime scenes. You don't, especially ones that just got off the bus. It just doesn't work that way. Or you talk about crime scenes. You never do that. The acting of these people absolutely sucked. And the hot blonde chick, she's only in this movie because she's hot. Her acting sucks. It's just, please get out of there. And what's with these movies trying to come up with these one-liners again, like, get to the chopper, like, the way he does that, it's just pathetic. I cannot stand. And that's the older brother. Like, is he supposed to be the main role in this movie or not? Because I don't understand this older brother. The way he treats his younger brother, I seriously would put you to the ground if you talk to me that way. Absolutely never will. The way they portray the National Guard in this movie, that is definitely not the National Guard. I served 6 years in the National Guard. You don't roll up in special forces like that. It's just, that's not how that works. And the fact that the government nuked the whole town, killed families, killed kids, and we're supposed to be cool with these group of people surviving? No, not gonna work. And the fact that they try to end this movie with a follow-up to another sequel, I'm really glad the studio's like, we're not having a third movie to this. But overall, this movie is just terrible from the start. And that's why it's last place for the Alien franchise. If I can just borrow you guys time for 20 seconds, this is not a sponsor. This is about children that need our help. These are children that have cancer, leukemia, all the bad stuff, and it's kill. I'm from Iowa. We have a children's hospital, and you watch any of the Iowa football games during the first quarter, we do the Iowa wave to the children in the hospital. They deserve all the stuff, and I just want to say, guys, in the description box below, I have a link for description where you can donate, and that's all I want to say, guys, because I absolutely love Iowa, and I love what they're doing with the Iowa children. So please, if you have money and you want to donate, go to the description box, give it to them. Do not give it to me. Coming in 8th place, we have Alien Resurrection that came out in 1997. This is the last movie that we saw Sigourney Weaver play Ripley, and that is one of the biggest things I hate about this movie. It's like, why do we have to bring her back again? She had a great proper send-off in Alien 3. And of course, this is 200 years in the timeline for the Alien franchise. There's no Weyland-Yutani. This is the military. Like, if this was Weyland-Yutani doing the experience, that makes a lot more sense. But no. The acting is so much over the top, even with all these great stars. Ryan Ryder, Ron Perlman, and there's even a few other faces that are very familiar when you seem like, oh, I recognize you from so-and-so. But such over the top, and you have this one guy that can shoot bullets, bouncing off walls and hit you directly on the head. I'm sorry, man, that's not gonna work. And it's just weird as it's nasty. Sigourney Weaver, she wants to have sex with all these aliens, and she's like massaging everybody, and that creature at the very end, like, dude, that is the worst creature in this whole entire Alien franchise. And then the way that the creature dies and is like, kill me, is just like, no, 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 no. The Xenomorphs, they look great. I absolutely love the Xenomorphs in this movie. But you show them way too early, you show them way too much, and the fact that they're behind a cage, they're not pets. You're supposed to be scared of them. They're supposed to be in the shadows. But you see them straight up, and it's just, no. The one that I do like also about this movie is Brad Dourif. So Brad Dourif, he does the voice of Chucky. We all love Chucky. And in this movie, he does like this one speech that's like really Chucky voice. But then it's like, he's like, come here, baby, I love you. It's like, no, dude. Like, the speech was cool, but then it just got really, really weird. And like, it starts off great, then it just waterfall down to the weirdest thing. But this movie and Alien vs. Predator 2, I keep going back and forth between the worst two movies. But this lands for the 8th movie in the Alien franchise. Coming in at 7th place, we got Alien vs. Predator 2004. And the reason why this is the 7th worst movie is the Predator part I did not like. And the fact that, what I mean by the Predator part is like, I don't like the way they look. They look way too bulky. It's like almost like a football player playing path. And they keep having this lion roar over and over and over again. I'm not cool with that. But the main thing also is PG-13. How the fuck are we gonna have a PG-13 for an Alien and Predator movie, guys? Like, you got to be kidding me. We spent all this time leading up to this movie, and this is what we get? I mean, yeah, it's great. We finally get an Alien Predator on screen, but this reminds me of a lot of 31st Jason. Took all this time to get him on screen. It's like, dude, this is what we get. It's like average at best. Sure, there's some good stuff in it. The pyramid. I love the whole idea of a pyramid being under Antarctica. I get it. The set design, the set puzzles pieces were really cool. Anything Xenomorphs was a home run when it comes to the Xenomorphs. And you can tell the director loves Xenomorphs and wasn't a big fan of the Predator, because the Predator, I just did not like the way they were. And a Predator does not buddy up with a human. Seriously, when I see a Predator, you're supposed to be scared of them. They skin humans alive. But yet, this Predator and a human, the final girl, they're holding hands, skip my loot to my darling at the very end. It's like, dude, you got to be kidding me. But, I mean, it's still, like, okay. It's, like, average at best, because it's still worth watching from start to finish. But I'm just shaking my head a lot of times. I really am. And it's confusing, because, like, you get this whole Bishop, and he's supposed to be, like, I think Charles Bishop Whalen. But then when they made these movies, it was supposed to be canon. But then when Ridley Scott ended up doing Prometheus and Covenant, it makes all these Alien vs. Predators non-canon. So it's confusing. Even for us Alien fans, we're like, wait, is he supposed to be Bishop? Is he not Bishop? Is he supposed to be Ancestor? What's going on here? It's just really confusing. But I think it's a hot mess. They could have done a lot better. But that's why it's 7th place in the Alien franchise. Coming in at 6th place, we have Alien 3 that came out in 1992. And we all know this movie mainly because the pre-production disaster. It was going through so many different scripts, so many different directors, and David Fincher ended up taking over for this movie. His next movie after this would be 7. Great movie. We all love 7. What's in the box, you know? Anyway, Alien 3, there's a few things that I can't stand. The fact that you kill Newt and Hicks off immediately off screen, that's my biggest gripe for this movie. But I'm a fan of this movie, so I'll get into what I like about the movie. But the negatives, like I said, the Newt and Hicks, can't stand that. And this whole CGI Xenomorph, this is the first time we had a CGI, but it's actually like more of a stop motion. And it's just, it does not work for me. I'm sorry, it does not work. But I do enjoy the fact that the acting is actually really good. The casting I thought was actually really nice. Charles Dance, he plays a limited role, but you kill him off way too early. This movie has a thing where they show these really great actors and characters, but then they kill them off like halfway through. It's like, dude, such a letdown. But it was a nice different atmosphere, different pace, you know. You're in a prison, but the color scheme was really depressing. It's like brown, dark green. It's like, I wish they added a little different color pattern, but at the end of the day, this was a really proper send-off for Ripley at the very end of this whole movie. The way she went out, perfect. Loved it. I wish this was it for Ripley. I wish we saw nothing more after this. And that speech, you know, from the Bishop had like the human form come. That was nice. I really enjoyed that. So I think the ending of this movie really saved this movie at being definitely watchable. I wish it was just, it felt like there was too many cooks in the kitchen. It was still scary as fuck. But again, at the end of the day, it was just too many cooks in the kitchen, and it could have been a lot better. But at the end of the day, You know, we got 6th place for the Alien franchise. Coming in 5th place, like pretty much right in the center, we have Alien Covenant that came out in 2017. Of course, this is Ridley Scott. This is a sequel after Prometheus. But since Alien Covenant didn't make that much money, we did not get the proper trilogy, which would have been Alien Awakening. I enjoy this movie. There's a lot of things I enjoy about this movie, but there's some things that just stand out where I'm like, ugh. Again, just like Alien 3 when they killed off Newts and Hicks. In this movie, you killed off Shaw. I cannot believe you killed off Shaw, man. I was big fan of Shaw. When they show David for the second time when he saved the group and he shot that flare up, that would have been a perfect time if that was Shaw instead of David. Then we had Shaw throughout the movie, and then if she would have died at the end of it, that would make this movie so much better. But I really actually like this movie because it was amazingly shot. Just like Prometheus. The visual was stunning. I really liked the color pattern. It was kind of like a green color because with Prometheus it's kind of blue. But we go to a different planet. This has nothing to do with LV-223 from Prometheus or LV-426, which is the original Alien movie. The set design was really good. The casting, I really enjoy the casting. The characters have some depth into it. Seeing Danny McBride as Tennessee, that was different. Seeing him in a more serious role. I used to be a big James Franco fan. I absolutely love Pineapple Express. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. But the last 5 years, James Franco has not really been looking so good. I know he's starting to look like a creep, but I need to do a little more digging before I get too far into it. But seeing him in this movie, I thought was more distracting. Like he played a very limited role. There's some deleted scenes, but I wish they would just not done James Franco, because in hindsight, it's just kind of distracting. Now every time I watch, I'm like, oh, there's James Franco. But the Xenomorphs at the very end, a big gripe is the fact that it was CGI, and I'm okay with CGI if done correctly, but I didn't. It's like, dude, we did practical effects in the 70s and 80s and 90s, but now we want to do CGI. I know it's cheaper, faster sometimes, but it just didn't work for me. No. It was a nice twist though in the very end, because right when you thought you were safe, good to go, you can have a sex scene, take a shower. Nope. Round 4, final act. Of course, that we get for alien movies. But this movie overall is very satisfying. It feels very alien-like. The new captain in the movie, I thought he was a highlight of the movie. I love his acting. It's someone that he's thrown into the position of leadership. He's trying his best, but the whole crew is like, doesn't believe him. But at the end of the day, they try their best. And you get some really cool kills. You get a lot of the chest burster scenes. You get a crazy chest burster scene. You get other ways that the alien comes out, like through the mouth and the back, which is nasty but cool as fuck at the same time. But overall, this movie, it's very satisfying for an alien movie. It has a lot of things that you're going to enjoy. Some people are going to look at it like, it just falls flat. It's all subjective. I get that. But that's why it's right in the middle. You know, it's 5th place out of 9. So it's not up there with the best, but it's not the worst. And I think it's in between, which is right where it belongs. Coming in 4th place, we got Prometheus that came out in 2012. And this is Ridley Scott coming back, you know, because he did only the first one. And he did nothing at all until this point. So he's bringing back his baby. I love the idea of what they're doing with the prequel, trying to lead up to the whole original movie. But the fact that this movie, I'm going to start with a few negatives because I really love this movie. But the negatives I have about this movie is we try to explain too much. The engineers, I wish we had nothing to do with the engineers. And David, the android that played by Michael Fassbender, he's like one of my favorite androids, so I really love him. But it's like we did a lot of, it's focusing on him, pretty much like him is being the father of the Xenomorphs, which we see in later movies. It's like, I don't know. But one thing I do really love about this movie is the visuals are stunning. The score that you hear in the opening scene is my top 10 score of all time. I can listen to that score all day. The fact that Ridley Scott is back, you can tell this was Ridley Scott. They put a lot of money into this and it looks amazing. The set design absolutely gives you that space vibe. Love it. But I think it's really one of the underrated movies of all time in the top 10, at least in the last 20 years. Very underrated. And I get it. I really understand that there's really no Xenomorphs in this. You have a few other creatures. You got some crazy deaths in this, but overall, I think this Prometheus is very underrated. I can watch this movie over and over again. If it was a standalone film, I think it would have really got us more audience. But I mean, it's still a 73 for a critic score, so that's not too bad. And the audience, I think, is only like 60-ish. But I understand with this movie, you either love or you hate it, and I'm on the love side, and that's why it's 4th. It was 3rd, but Alien Romulus just took that over. Yeah, so coming in third place, we have Alien Romulus just came out the other day. And man, woo! I did a whole, yeah, you can check out my movie review, my spoilers if you want, but this is back to the main Alien vibe. You got your face huggers, your xenomorphs. The tone is so dark, it's so scary, and it's simple. Simple story of a group trying to survive, and they're a place where they didn't want to go. Yeah, this is more of a younger 20-ish cat, like, age group of characters, but I love, because it's different. We've had so many types of characters, different types of groups. We never really had a group of young people, and it was good. They weren't like the whole woke Gen Z stuff. They had none of that. So it was great acting. I thought the choice of the people that casting was excellent, very diverse. The kills were so dope. The only negative I have about this movie is the very end, like the last 20 minutes. Like, it was very tense, very scary. I get that, but I'm not down for this half human creature. I'm sorry. It's just, it doesn't suit me. It's like, I'm not here because there's so many alien movies out there where I can watch these movies like Splice or Species, Mimic. It's just all these different alien movies out there where it's like, if you want to watch that stuff, you can. I come for the xenomorphs, the facehuggers, and you get that 95% of the time. So there's nothing wrong with that. Very satisfying. And I'm just so glad this is back to the form. I mean, this is third in the franchise out of 9. I mean, it's going to be really hard to beat Aliens and Aliens. I don't think no alien movie is ever going to come up to that. And for this to be third place, that shows a lot already that Fede Alvarez, the director, he knows what he's talking about. All right, we got the last two, and this is really a debate. It's really 50-50 between what's better, the original or the sequel. And coming in second place, I'm going to go with the original Alien 1979. Of course, this movie, critic score is a 93. Aliens is a 94. So, like, it's very 50-50. And again, we're all going to debate which one's better. But I'm going to go with, for second place, we have Alien. And of course, with this movie, it starts a lot new things that we've never seen before. The final act, the whole fourth act, when you thought it was over, it's not over. A final girl, Ripley, a strong final girl. Yeah, even though Halloween was the year before this, Texas Chainsaw Massacre was in 74. What was it? Black Christmas was 75. So we see a few of those, but this really cemented it with Halloween in this back-to-back years. And of course, the year after this will be Friday 13, 1980. Another final girl, and then what was it? Nightmare on Elm Street came out in 84. So between 78 and 84, that's really the time zone of the final girl, and this really cemented it. And Sigourney Weaver, she was kind of unknown at this time, so she is really not put out there. But the practical effects, the set design, amazing. But like Dan O'Bannon, he came up with the idea of the story. H.R. Geiger, he came up with the visual artist of, the xenomorphs, the facehuggers. Ridley Scott, the director, he's really the visual behind the camera. He can really tell a story with the camera. Roger Corman, one of the greatest producers of all time. Stan Winston, one of the greatest practical effects people of all time. He did Jurassic Park, the Lake Placid creature, and he, of course, did this. The Terminator, fantastic, one of the greatest. And, of course, like I said, Sigourney Weaver, she is iconic now. And, of course, Jerry Goldsmith played the soundtrack, the score of this. He would do, like, Rambo and many, many other things. But this story is very simple. You got a group of people going into a place they're not sure what's going on, and they're just getting killed off one by one. The creature just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's just like in that iconic chest burster scene is one of the top 5 all times ever, and at least sci-fi or horror genres of like memorable. Like, I'm never gonna forget when I saw that for the very first time. Iconic casting, iconic everything. This movie is amazing. And with this and Aliens, it was really back and forth. You can ask me a year from now, and I might have them flipped around, but it's so close. But I'm going to have to go with Aliens for the #1 movie. And of course, with Aliens that came out in 1986, that, is 7 years after the original movie. This is directed by James Cameron. And the one thing I love about this movie and why I put it just a hair bit above the original movie, I'm not saying it's like that much different, but it's just enough to a point where I love this movie so much from its action. The energy of the entertainment is more humor. The pace is a lot faster. It's just a whole different movie from the original Alien. The original Alien is more of like, I want to watch a scary movie. This is like, all right, let's watch like an action sci-fi. I just want to get drunk and have a great time. The cast is very iconic. I mean, Bill Paxton and Michael Biehn, like, come on. And then getting Sigourney Weaver back, her character depth was amazing. Because imagine going back to the original place that you went through, and you didn't want to go back, but you end up going back, and you come out just even stronger. You can see a side of her that you never saw from her in the original Alien movies. She's like that motherly figure when she comes with new. Of course, in the Queen, that you add on to the xenomorphs. Because in the original movie, you only see one xenomorph. In this, you see hundreds of thousands of xenomorphs. The Queen is amazing. Stan Winston came back and did that. Brilliant. You see a lot more of this Weyland-Yutani, kind of like at peak of their service. And you add in more of a family kids to this, it just adds more of the suspense to it. The whole Marines, you know, that's like an allegory to Vietnam. Absolutely love that whole thing. So that is why this movie is #1 in the Alien franchise. And I am curious, what is your rankings? And I jump down in the comments below. Again, we're not going to all agree on this stuff. All this is subjective. There's 9 movies in this, you know, whole franchise. It's going to be almost impossible for someone to agree on every single thing I do. But I would love to hear you guys' opinion on this, because this can go many ways, and I'm really curious what you all have to say. But if you like this stuff, like, subscribe. I got many more to do. I'll be doing a tier list. I got a lot more questions I got to talk about Alien before I move on to my normal movie stuff. But yeah, you guys know how this works. Like, subscribe, and all that good stuff, and go Hawkeyes.